Uh, any kind of questions, feel free. Okay? Is that fine? Yes, no, maybe. Very good. Okay. Quite a lot of us on this floor, and quite a lot of people who are viewing this on the link have at some or the other point interacted with Mr. Menon. Mr. Menon happens to be somebody who's always seen on this floor, and it's his general habit that he will come, have a conversation with you, talk to you. It's pretty much him. You always see him on his rounds every day, and that's something that most of us will miss. Today happens to be a day when we are having the ceremony of his retirement here, while the last working day before he moves on into his new role will be 31st, post the 31st of May. We will be interacting with him. We'll be showing some moments, some memories that he shared with all of us. And I request all of y'all to either be seated, but just be around this place. We need a lot of clapping. We need a lot of whistling. Do whatever you want. And let's begin. Are we ready? Are we ready? Yes. All right. So with a round of applause, we're going to have Mr. Menon walking out of his cabin, out of his den today. And as he walks in, I want all of y'all to shower in a loud round of applause. At the count of 3. I know. At the count of welcome, ma'am. The chairs are there. We were just, yeah? Okay, please. Welcome, Mrs. Menon. Hi, Shankar. Hi, Devika. Hi, Pooja. Welcome. All seated. Okay, so we will be using this part as the walkway, as the aisle. I would request when Mr. Menon walks in, everybody try and get as close as possible, not over each other. Okay? And let's make it loud, as loud as we can to remember. At a count of 3. Hi, Nina. Mr. Menon's family is also here, so all those of you who've been reading those year-end emails with mention of Mrs. Menon, Shankar, Pooja, Devika, Nina, Rohan. We couldn't bring that off. Yeah, we couldn't. Yeah. In fact, Sakshi was worried. At the count of 3, 2, 1. Presenting to you Mr. Madhavan Menon. Louder, guys, louder. For one last time, as loud as we can. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. once again, along with Mr. Menon, his family is here. Can you see his family, everybody? Say hello. It's Mrs. Menon. There is Rohan and Pooja. There is Shankar and Devika, and also Nina. Okay, welcome. And welcome, Mr. Menon. May I request you to please take a seat? So, as we begin, to set the context, as usual, I would firstly like to welcome Mr. Mahesh Iyer to say a few words, and then we get the journey rolling. Mahesh, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. I don't know where to start from. Because when you know someone for 25 long years, it's very, very difficult to say where to start from and how to start. But let me try and make this a little more lighter. I always had the advantage at most of these forums to speak after Madhavan Menon. So the good advantage is you need to say, I agree with whatever Madhavan said, ditto. Unfortunately, today, I can't do that. So I have to say a lot more, but I try to keep it as concise as possible. But for the first time, I've actually made a pointers on what I want to say about him. So I'm actually going to refer to my notes because I don't want to miss some of the things that I so value about this man, Madhavan Menon. So bear with me, guys. So I know Madhavan from the year 2000 when he joined this company. 5th of February 2000. That's the day when Madhavan Menon joined this company. And 2nd of May 2000 when he joined this company. And I know him from that day. As a lot of you all who are here for 25 years will know, young, dynamic, and hot and fiery. A lot of us, including me, will get out of his way if you see him. We would literally hide under the table, and I'm not joking. There are a lot of people here in Forex who will bet on that. Jayesh? Yeah, see, I can see that voice, sir. And that's Madhavan for you. But inside that hard, tough taskmaster was this soft, gentle human being who cared for every person that he came across. And that, I'm sure a lot of you who interacted with Madhavan over the last 25 years will vouch for. A thorough professional, I would say, care a damn attitude, very task-oriented, very principled, the first person to come to office, and I don't know how Lily lets him go so early. Even today morning, and I must share that with you, I called him at 9 o'clock, and the first question I asked him, I hope, Madhavan, you're still not at work. You're going to start now. He says, no, I'm almost there to office. I was like, even today? And he said, some habits don't die. And that's Madhavan, I think, trained as a dealer, was first one to be on the dealing desk. I think he continues to carry that virtue. As a result of that rub-off effect, I have started to get to office a little more early, and I can see Lakshmi and Sangeeta are a little more worried because they start seeing me at 9:25, 9:30 to the office. So that's the big change that has happened. Madhavan, thank you for that rub-off effect. So as a professional, I can say there's a lot to learn from Madhavan. He'll give you that confidence, he'll give you that support, he'll give you that backing, and he will set you those targets which when you start looking at those, you will believe they are so tall, they are so unachievable. But believe you me, they are so easy to get to. It's just because Madhavan makes it possible. He's there, he puts his hand behind you and says, you guys can do it. Go ahead, if you make a mistake, I'm there to support. Thank you, Madhavan, for being that safety net always. On the personal front, I think there's a lot to speak about Madhavan. I have many personal experiences, and I'm going to share some of them here for sure. To begin with, he takes the credit for bringing me and my wife Jenny together, and Madhvan, I owe it to you. I'm married to my wife Jenny because of Madhvan Menon, so thank you so much, Madhvan. He is also the person responsible for getting me some good vices. And I'm not going to talk about it here. I know Mona is looking at it. She may just about record and put a complaint out there for me. But yes, Madhvan, thank you for those. At least I can now socialize a little more than what I used to do in the past. Like my wife always says, you are anti-social. I've started to become a little more social now. I have a personal experience of mine that I want to share with all of you. In the year 2020, February 2020, I had a bit of a scare with my health and I had to go into the hospital. And this is at 9:30 in the morning. I had two of my colleagues standing beside me. And the third person who walks up there is none other than Madhvan Menon. You know, he stood with me. He was there the whole procedure, when I went to the whole procedure, telling me, don't worry, Mahesh, I'm there standing with you. And it meant a lot to me personally. I lost my mother in 2016 and father in 2019. He stood beside me as someone whose family, and I've always looked upon to him as someone who's a part of my family. And Madhvan, I'm going to say it loud here, he's like a father to me. I've always looked upon to him like that. Thank you, Madhvan. Thank you so much for doing it. It's a gratitude. It's something that I cannot ever thank him for. And I think at every walk of my life, if I stand here today in front of all of you, I think he had a big role to play in the way I am today. He's taught me so many things. And I know some people actually joke, ye shayad Madhvan ka mini virtual aa gaya yahan pe. Guys, but I can tell you, he's had a lot of influence on a lot of people. And I think somebody has to really work very close with him to know what that person is. Very, very hard from the outside, but for people who know him, he will take very personal interest in each one's life. He will actually be besides you. He will know the name of each and every member of your family. He will never miss a point to ask how they are, what are they doing in life. And mind you, he's got a memory of an elephant. He will remember every person's name, and I think that's a quality you have to give it to him. He would have met 500 people in a day, and most likely he will remember all the 500 names. Amazing, amazing. You know, the most toughest part of it was when Madhvan spoke to me about his decision to retire. I was shocked, and he still knows what my reaction was. Was very difficult, very different, and I actually chose to walk away from his room to reconcile and then come back. But knowing Madhvan, a decision made, it stays that way, final. And that's the Madhvan that I know of Madhvan. I'm very grateful to Lily, Pooja, Shankar, Rohan, Devika, and the little Nina that they are here on this special occasion for Madhvan. It means a lot to all of us. Madhvan, I can only wish you good luck, lots of love, lots of happiness, lots of peace, and everything that you want to achieve in your life, go out and do that. Madhvan, I know you're going to miss all of us, as we are going to miss you, but your blessings will always continue to bestow on all of us. Thank you so much, Madhvan, and all the very best.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Iyer. And as rightly said, you know, a few years back, as you know, my wife also works here, and I have to keep announcing it every time, Lenny. And she had just delivered our first daughter, and she had to come in for a meeting. Yeah, and Claire was about 4 months, and she had to come in. So my mother had to follow on, and they were outside. Mr. Menon actually put my daughter in his cabin. She's like, let her sleep over there. Okay, so I have this privilege of having my daughter sleep in his cabin. Please don't get your kids to office. Okay, and someone rightly said it, and I want to say it at this moment, that He's truly the prince of the Indian travel industry. How many of you all agree with me? And he is the prince, and thank you, Mr. Menon. He is always there, and he knows all the details. In fact, when he got to know I'm going to get married, he was in London. I had to spend one full day answering questions in the car. I was told, I don't know, I was tricked into that situation. I was told that, you'll be with Mr. Menon. So he's like, Cassius, tell me, how did this happen? I said, what? This Lenny story. I'm like, I'm not prepared for this. But yeah, that's how it happened. After Mr. Iyer, I would like to request Mr. Vishal Suri to come forward and say a few words.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I think it's, I never imagined that I'll ever be in a situation where we will be here. It's a momentous occasion, Madhavan's farewell. He's retiring. I never imagined that we'll all be here to see him retire, because he is the person who's actually, he's a personality behind Thomas Cook. So I never thought that it'll come to that point, but it's a momentous occasion for a remarkable man, a remarkable personality. I think normally, and Mahesh knows this, and everybody knows that, I prefer to make my points before I speak. But when it comes to Madhavan, I said I will speak from my heart. Yeah. So I've not prepared anything. Honestly, I've not prepared anything. But I just wanted to come and talk. He's a man, the man, and he's touched many of us in many ways. I met him for the first time, and I was kind of a cowboy who used to work for Airtel, and thought that I'm a great, cool sales guy, and Thomas Cook hired me from somewhere. And I came, and in 2006 January is when I had the opportunity to meet Madhavan and for an induction, and he spoke to me a lot about the foreign exchange business, how they square off positions at the end of the day, and I didn't understand anything and stuff like that, I must tell you that. But subsequently, a lot of people are old timers. Thomas Cook changed hands and Dubai Group came in. And I said, look, have I done the right thing? I had a great career as a sales guy in Airtel, in telecom. I worked for Motorola at Airtel. And I said, why have I come here? This company's just changed hands. And Madhavan took over as the acting MD because Ashwini had to go away. And then I was looking at this guy. He was stepping into something. And then suddenly he had his head of foreign exchange leaving, the head of travel leaving. And then one day, I think even head of IT left. I said, what the hell is happening here? I said, what a crazy place this is. But he stood. Suddenly I saw Madhavan just being there for everybody. He just stood like a rock of Gibraltar. He was there. And like Chandrika once called him the Amitabh Bachchan of Thomas Cook, I think here is our man. And he stood like that. He kind of put his arms around a lot of people like me at that point in time, because suddenly the first line of leadership was gone. And obviously we were in the next line of leadership. And he just put his arms around us. And that was like a safe place for a lot of us. And he made us comfortable. I know he traveled length and breadth of Thomas Cook, and it was a very different organization at that point in time. And he traveled the organization, doing town halls, meeting people one-on-one and stuff like that, and telling, listen, I'm there, and all of you guys are safe. And I tell you, 99% of the people believed him. Whatever he said, everybody believed that he's the guy who's going to keep us safe. So Madhavan, you are our safety net. You've always been our safety net. I worked with him for a few years. And then fortunately, unfortunately, I left the organization and went to Kony. And now I wonder, why did he even let me go? Because he had to buy the company to bring me back, actually. So, and that's a joke that we have. We have a joke that you have to buy the company to bring me back. But, the first call when the transaction was, only Madhavan knew the transaction was closing. I got a call. He was in Zurich. I was in Mumbai. He he says, welcome back to the family. And you know how comforting it is for, and you know, when a company gets acquired, I must tell you the feeling, you feel like prisoners of war. And you have somebody, a general, calling you up and says, welcome back to the family. You suddenly feel very, very differently. And he said, listen, I want you to do the job. I want you to basically head and run this company. And you know, and he said, look, somebody's playing blind on you. You just can't let somebody like that down. So he's a person, if he sees that there is something that if he can trust you, if you have the values and the principles that he kind of embodies himself, I think he's the guy who will back you all the way, like he's done with a lot of us. In any case, Mahesh just spoke about it, so I don't want to repeat a lot of things. So here we are back again. And then a similar incident happened when pandemic hit us. Yeah. Very difficult period for people in our industry. I think it was not an easy period for us. And suddenly we formed a core group. We were doing our huddles virtually at that point in time. And you know, sometime, and this happened in March of 20, in July of 20, I was sitting in my balcony at my house and I was doing some mental maths. And then I called him up. I think it was 9 o'clock or something. I said, Madhavan, I have a runway till December. After that, I don't know what to do because the company will run out of cash. He said, you don't worry about it. It's my problem. We are not going anywhere. All of us are going to be around. And in any case, from that time, obviously, we've all seen how we have transitioned. There's a lot of work that we have done as an organization. We look like a very different organization. I think it's all his leadership, guidance, mentorship, his confidence, the fact that he pushed all of us to achieve certain things. I think it's been a journey in itself. He has a way that he touches people. And I think Mahesh touched upon that. He is fantastic with first names, and I'm extremely bad with it. I look at somebody and remember that person. I say, I've met him, I'll not remember the name. But he's one guy who'll meet you, your family members, he'll remember them by their first names. I think that's an amazing quality, Madhavan. I don't know how you do it, but you do it. He touches people at that human level. It's not about boss or anything. He sometimes touches you at a human level. My wife is extremely fond of. She's like one of the biggest fans of Madhavan that I have known. And earlier I used to think it's like a Mallu connection because I have a Mallu wife. But then over a period of time, and she told me many times she would, and obviously Madhavan would not give you an easy time in meetings or at work and stuff like that. So we've all gone through that grind to basically make sure that we can stand up to him and say, look, Madhavan, we've done what you asked us to do and stuff like that. But I'd have a tough day and then I'll get back home. She said, this guy is going to be good for you. He's going to straighten you out and things like that. Yeah. So I think he's done that for me, but I'm saying he really touches you at an emotional level, at a professional level. He's touched me also in many ways. I know when I lost my father in September of 23, the first person I called up was him. And suddenly he was there, and then we were exchanging some messages and all. And he sent me one message. I have saved that message. I said, Madhavan, thanks for whatever you did, because he did a lot during that period, both emotionally and whatever was required. But he sent me one message which says, I'll do anything for you or Sony. You just have to ask. You know, he didn't have to do it, but the fact that he did it is something that I can't forget. And that's the kind of person that we're dealing with. He's always been a safety net. Before the board meetings or before any other critical meetings, I just had to go and tell him, Madhavan, we have a problem here. He said, don't worry, I'll deal with it. If I don't tell him that, I'll get into trouble. But the fact that if I've told him, so he's like that one big umbrella of safety net. He's the guy who will take care of you at that point in time. And thanks so much for Madhavan. I think I don't want to keep saying the same thing. It's an important occasion. I just want to end it, and my note, Madhavan, I just want to thank you for everything that you've done for all of us. In any case, it's been an honor and my privilege to have worked with you. And Lily, Pooja, Shankar, the rest of the family, I think you have all of Madhavan to yourself after 31st of May. So I just wish you guys all the happiness, the best of health for whatever you do in this next phase of your life. May this be more rewarding or as rewarding as this phase of life is. Yeah. Thank you, and God bless you guys.
Thank you so much, Mr. Suri. Thank you so much. And I see Mrs. Menon happy. Yay. But I'll tell you one thing. You can take the Madhavan out of Thomas Cook. But you cannot take the... Sorry, ma'am. 1-0. Okay. So, Mr. Menon, 25 years and 7 days. 2nd of May 2000 is when he joined. I'm curious what happened on that day. You know, a few days before that selection happened, and he was to take this role. I mean, while there is a video that they want to play, I actually want to interview you.
You're going to interview me? Lenny?
I have your resume.
Lenny?
I have your resume. May I? Or I let Mrs. Cherian come in over here. I don't want to take the chance. Otherwise, it's my last day.
So I just thought I'd tell all of you, he did interview me. We did have a wonderful interview over a nice bowl of minestrone soup and some salad. Okay? And then he sold me Thomas Cook. So it was the soup, the salad, and of course, the fact that we really bonded. He showed me a dream that he had for Thomas Cook, which was standalone at that time. We've had many acquisitions after that, many of you who've joined, but it's been a journey. Now, should I interview him? Yes. It's not loud enough. Yes. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So, what do you like to drink?
I can drink anything.
No, your favorite beverage.
It depends.
No, in the office.
In the office?
Yeah.
Whiskey.
Okay, everybody vote. Higher? Okay, what's your hobby?
My wife.
Hobby? May we request the hobby to come up? Okay, the second hobby which we know about is Nina, right? Nina, come. No? She's drawing a picture for you, by the way. But having said that, I think we'll ask him a few awkward questions. What say you? Yes. Okay. Now let's imagine this is the year 2000 when he is being interviewed, because he joined on 2nd May 2000. So the standard question that all HR people ask you, what do you see yourself doing 5 years from now? Right? I'm changing it. What do you see yourself doing 25 years later, which is today?
First of all, I didn't know that I would become gainfully employed so quickly in my life. No, I look forward to a career, and I wasn't impressed by many things I saw, but I said, let's give it a shot. Plus, I must mention something here. My father worked for an airline, only job in his entire life. And when I got the offer from Thomas Cook, my father was not alive anymore. I told my mother, she said, "Are you going to work for a travel agency?" And then I used to be a dealer at Grindlays, and the guy said, "You're the same guy who canceled their limits." So, it's fate that I landed here. Something I loved when I saw it subsequently, and I've stayed.
Super. We've been really happy to have you, and we'll keep getting in touch.
What's the salary? Will I get an increment every year?
There are some...
Will I get a bonus every year? What's the ratio of my bonus?
So there are some jobs you take just for the love of the people around you. Right? Thank you so much, Madhavan, and we'll proceed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And that was in words, and now let's have it in videos. Mr. Menon, that's for you. Whoa. Amazing. How many of you all had goosebumps? Goosebumps? I thought of this movie, Pretty Woman, you know, Richard Branson going and acquiring things. Yeah. When I seen the video, it was like just acquisitions. Okay. We have a few more videos, but just before we get into videos, there are a few questions. To set the context, I have one question to begin with. I'll have a few more. Mr. Menon, in your role, you handle a lot of leadership teams, people who are leading organizations across the world, over 25, different nationalities. Each one of them a different personality. Yeah. How do you manage to keep everybody together and, you know, so smoothly?
So I'll give Lily the first credit. She's kept me going for 43 years. I cover all bases. Remember that? No. Look, you know, I was telling somebody this morning that I was very lucky that I got to build rather than inherit. And, you know, Mahesh is inheriting what I'm leaving. When you get to build, I think you don't have an option. You live with what you get. There was one exception. I didn't like what I saw, and we changed that. But in general, when you meet people, and you know that's something I do meet a lot of people, you look for something in that person. And with each of these individuals, I think I looked for certain things which reflected the values that I believed in, and plus what Fairfax looked at. And is somebody can run a business on his own. You know, for me, it was not about running those businesses, it was about how it was to be done. And that's what gave me the confidence. I've been extremely lucky. I think we've, out of the 5 and 2, 7, 8, 9 acquisitions, 11 acquisitions, I think we changed 2 CEOs. And that happened very early. We didn't have to do it otherwise.
Wow. That's so modest of him, you know. He just says, "I just did it." You have to look, but he looks through people, and I'm sure this is something.
Not looks through, at people.
At people. Sorry. That's why I didn't take the interview. And you know, he has this way. And one thing that I always admire is the way he answers. We were in London once, and it's.
So can I tell this anecdote instead of you telling
Yes,
that? We land in London, Lily was with me, and I meet the store manager, and we both had got off an all-night flight, and all the way from Heathrow to the hotel, I had running commentary. And it was obviously Cassius. And, you know, I kept awake right through that. I must give him the credit that he kept me awake. And I came to the hotel and I said, how does this guy have the energy to just continuously talk? Because I didn't know there was a romance going on the other side. And he was trying to impress me.
No, actually, I was briefed, sir. I was briefed, don't let him talk. Because if he starts asking you questions, and if you don't give the right answer, you're gone. Okay? The first meeting was when I received him in Rome at airport. It was my second year as a tour manager in Rome. Okay? And I was trying to impress with my Italian. Except for pizza, pasta, CC, I didn't know anything. So I recited a few lines in Italian. So the moment I met the driver, I said, "Buongiorno, come stai? Bene?" So he's like, "You speak Italian?" I said, "Yes, sir, I speak Italian." So the driver is like, "Dove?" I said, "What?" He said, "Dove?" I said, "Yeah, dove." He said, "Amigo, dove partenza?" I said, "Partenza?" I was saved because I just said partenza, and then he realized that this guy doesn't know Italian. He's like, "My friend, where do we have to take this man? Do we go to Capri?" I was like, "Yes, yeah, you have to take him to Capri and just check, huh? Buono? He's like, "Yes, good, I'm fine. I know where to go." Okay, so that's how it happened. I survived, and I'm happy I'm here. We have a few questions, and I believe there is Ben. Ben, there's a question from you. Is Ben here? Ben.
Mr. Menon, we wanted to ask you about, we've always seen you very calm and quiet, composed. So we wanted to know the other side of your coin, like Mr. Iyer said that hot and fury. So do you remember or recollect any incident where you were you yelled at somebody, you were the loudest and you yelled at somebody, and what did you say? Don't take the names, but just say like, what was it? like the idiom says,
Ben,
calm before the storm. So was there a storm?
It's a very difficult question.
I mean, you have many incidents like this, I guess.
Well, before let me explain what this is. I was always a calm guy. Never. No. When I came to Thomas Cook, I actually had my initial doubts as to what I was doing here, because I inherited an FX organization, for those of you who were in FX there at the time, where a lot of people had left. And all I kept hearing people talk about was that company. And I said, in my mind, how do we overcome this? So, smart Alec that I thought I was, I said, don't worry, that company is going to collapse under its own weight. Very lucky. About 2 years, Mahesh? 2 years later, it collapsed under its own weight. So first battle won. Then to change the mentality of people. For those of you who are used to seeing your MIS on the 9th or the 10th or the 11th working day, we used to get our MIS exactly a month and a half after the date. I came from, having worked in a bank, I used to have to balance my position pad every single night, and you didn't start the next day. And I came here and asked, what happens to the position pad? They said, oh, in a few days we'll get it. And I don't know if Milind is here. Is Milind here? Yeah. I went after Milind and I told him, I said, I want it tomorrow. Poor fellow, right? I knew it was not within his means. But today I'm pleased to say we get to know. And that's the thing. I've thumped a lot of tables. And the worst instance I can tell you is I thumped my table so hard that it hurt for nearly 2 days after that. I never broke. Lakshmi was witness to that. I haven't broken anything. But, I must give her the credit again, is that when I raise my voice, she would appear outside. In DN Road, she used to sit right outside my door, so she could look inside. And I could see, because if I was shouting at someone, I could see her image behind that. Here in Marathon, she'll just walk down. So then that's the message saying you're talking too loud, please calm down. So I won't get into individual incidents, but I was fairly violent.
One sentence.
Just ask, after we've all left, ask June. She'll share it with you.
So one sentence like, something that you yelled or which is very often you use it. When you are a trademark line, what do you call? Maybe 2 words, 3 words, whatever. No.
I can say WTF, but...
Anyways, thank you, sir.
My granddaughter's sitting right here. I've got to be very careful what I say and don't say. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you so much. Anybody else? There are people who have nominated themselves to question, and I have the list, but is there anybody else who has any questions? No? Jainisha, are you there?
Good afternoon. So, my question is, I've heard that when you used to visit the branches, you used to travel in a specific vehicle, you used to ask for that particular vehicle. Which was it?
So I was reminded this morning that it was a Maruti 800. I very honestly don't remember, but I used to insist in going. In those days, I think the bigger branches, the wholesale branches of Thomas Cook, had a car. And so the guard and I would climb into the car because I used to carry values back to Bombay. So I got used to doing that. And they used to struggle because there would be some other car. I'd say, no, I want to get into this car.
Maruti 800.
Yes, absolutely.
Was that your favorite car?
It was at one time. That was the first car that Lily and I had after we got married. I've even gone in a Maruti van, by the way. And in one of those wild moments, I think I was in Dhaka and there was a strike and I was carried to the airport in an ambulance. So I've had my share of adventure.
Imagine the pressure on the guy who was driving the car. I mean, despite the fact he had to fit Mr. Menon in and then drive. He was never briefed. Mr. Menon, there's another question, and it's from, he's actually an adult, but his name is Infant. Infant is, yes, his name is Infant. So the airline PNR says Infant. Infant Carlos, Infant. And he never gets a seat. And he's just got married.
Congratulations, Infant.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I have a question for you. Everyone in office has a pet name. What is the funniest name which you have been called?
Oh, it depends on which side of the organization you're talking about, because which area. I've heard lion, I've heard tiger in various languages. I also believe I've been called many other names. I'd rather not mention some of the names I've heard. But look, I have a bad habit. I keep walking around. And, people try to avoid my look. For many years, especially the newer staff would avoid looking straight at me. Over a period of time, I think they learned it's better to look at him rather than not look at him.
Thank you, sir.
The answer is not there yet. And where is... Hi, June. I want to hear it for the one last time. Suzanne, please. Suzanne, everybody wants to... June, everybody wants to see you. Please stand. Everybody, June, 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 June.
I never had a pet name for Madhavan. We called him MM, we called him Madhavan, and you know better, now you better say what it is. Or what I called him just now before coming in. Can I say that?
Of course you can.
I called him a cheat. Now there's a long story behind that. We'll cut it short, but for us, he was always Madhavan, MM, and that's Raju. Lily, sorry, I don't know what she's talking about.
This time I choose to believe Suzanne. Because once I had promised, I don't know why, I promised June East Indian bottle masala. And I forgot. She came down on the ground floor and in front of everybody, Kutreya. And I'm like, what just happened? I went home and I ensured that the bottle masala was there. Yeah, that's the first part. And can we have the second round of video, because there are few people across the organization who have sent messages, their thoughts. Please play it.
Thank you, Mr. Menon. Honestly, I still can't believe I'm recording the message for your farewell. Since 2005, I had the privilege of working with Thomas Cook, and you have always been the support structure we all leaned on. For all of us, always Thomas Cook and Mr. Menon has always been synonymous. It's hard to imagine one without the other. Thank you for your mentorship and for being such a steady guiding force through all these years. Personally, I will truly miss your visits to the airport branches. No matter how long your day had been or how tired you were, you made it to the point to visit every counter, meet every single staff member, and make each one of us feel seen and valued. You showed me that leadership isn't just about hierarchy, it's about consistency, humility, and connection. Wishing you all the happiness and good health in this new chapter, and you will be dearly missed, sir. Thank you very much for all your support during all these years, sir. Wish you all the very best.
Madhavan to me is like a coconut, extremely hard on the exterior but soft on the inside. As far as the business was concerned, he was extremely focused and there were no compromises there at all. As far as personal issues are concerned, he was a pillar of support for so many of us, almost like the Rock of Gibraltar. That is Madhavan for you. Strict, disciplined, but extremely soft and helpful. Thank you, Madhavan, for being there for us.
My first interaction with Mr. Menon was for my final round of interview in the Udyog Bihar office in Gurgaon. The memories are still fresh in my mind. It looks like just happened yesterday. He has been such an inspiration to all of us. There are so many things that you can learn from him by just observing him. Apart from so many qualities he has, what I adore most about him is his eye for detail. He never misses a thing despite managing such a huge scale of business. My heartiest congratulations, sir, for an incredible journey. You're leaving such a huge legacy behind. Sir, I wish you good health, peace and contentment in your journey onwards. Thank you once again for everything.
It's been a true privilege working under your guidance for 25 years at Thomas Cook. Mr. Menon, I still remember our first meeting. you weren't just collecting foreign exchange, you were already suggesting improvements. You have always been a leader who challenged norms, shaped new businesses, and brought in ideas like the unified rate list and separate account for billing department. But more than that, you have been someone we could always turn to, both professionally and personally. I wish you a wonderful journey ahead. You will always have a special place with us. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, sir.
Boss, that's what I always called you for the good reason. Your style, the way you present and communicated, always taught me how things should be managed. Our many interactions at the airport over a coffee and casual conversation, and especially your unique morning visit at Marathon, all memories I always cherish. It is hard to imagine this place without you. Seeing you and hearing your words became a habit and truly boosted us all. Wishing you a very happy and successful second inning. We'll miss you, boss. Thank you.
It's wonderful to work under Mr. Menon. He's a visionary leader, and in last 8.5 years, the Fairfax India Charitable Foundation, we almost created 500 crore patient saving for dialysis patient across 28 states in India. More than 100 crores has been invested in the foundation. More than 30% of population has been impacted. It's really a fortunate thing to work and be a part of this journey. Thank you, Mr. Menon, and wish you a very happy and a meaningful life ahead.
Thanks for this wonderful opportunity to speak about Madhavan sir. For me, he's a B square, a big man and a bold leader. Hi sir, how are you? Blessed with several interactions, even though I am outside Mumbai. All meaningful, impactful, good takeaways. I have gained confidence as well. Only one trust meeting, if you remember, at Cochin. But that time also, you didn't forget to ask about myself and my family as the first. One that quote, if I have to remember, is that he said everything that comes as a discount may not be worth it. No parting words here. You're a book. I'll continue reading. See you soon, sir.
Hi, Madhavan. Never knew this day will come so fast in life. Time really flies. It was really pleasure, pride and luck to have worked with you for such a long time. Wish you the very best of the next phase of your life. And one incident I will never forget the rest of my life was my first interaction with you. You came down to Calcutta and asked me how are things, and I confidently said everything is fine, sir. You politely answered, when your numbers are not fine, how can you be so fine? That one line of yours changed the perception of looking at things, business, and the rest is history. Wish you all the best.
It was a wonderful experience working under your guidance. You have always kept standards very high, be it commitment towards work, ideation, leading from the front, honesty, or long-term vision for the company. Above all, sir, you carry great personality. If Mr. Menon is in the room, everyone sitting out there will feel your presence. I still remember during FX reviews, everybody's thinking all the time, as and when, what question Mr. Menon will ask. You are leaving behind such a legacy that will always be remembered and very tough to beat. We assure you that we will deliver level best efforts to keep alive the high standard you have set for the company. On this juncture, wishing you all the best for your entire life to spend great time with your family, friends and loved ones. Thank you so much, sir, for all the support.
Mr. Menon, you leave behind a legacy of excellence, resilience, compassion, and your legacy will live on through all the countless lives that you've touched. We are honored to have worked under your leadership. Thank you for always being there for us. We wish you all the very best for a fulfilled, happy, healthy life with promising possibilities and resounding success. We will miss you, Mr. Menon. All the very best always.
Wow. Cute messages, and the last one was super cute. Having said that, Mr. Menon, just a quick question. Skydive or Mrs. Menon?
I don't have to answer the question. Maybe pre-retirement, Mrs. Menon. Post-retirement, I may go skydiving.
Socks or cigar?
Both.
You know what he likes? Both. I was once again in London, and I seen nice colored socks and said, "So, why this color?" Because when I was in college, I used to wear 2 different colors of socks. And when I came for my interview in Thomas Cook, I had worn the same socks. Luckily, I got through, nobody seen it. But after that, I was told not to do that. So I maintain the same color now. But now I'll keep copying you. Okay. On the lighter side, we are casting you along with 2 members from Exicom for Dil Chahta Hai. Okay? What role would you be and what role would the 2 others be in?
You know, you're not trying to embarrass me because I have no clue what you're talking about. But given that you've given me a challenge, I have to take it. This thing. First of all, I have to identify who does the most drama on the Exicom. One is not here. I call him the drama queen, which is Indiva Rastogi. He's definitely not here. The second one is also not here. His name is Dipesh Verma. For those of you who don't know, he's getting married on tomorrow. And last week I told him, instead of saying, he's going to walk down the aisle, I said, you're walking down the plank. But these would ideally be this thing. Because the rest are all like me, a little more sane. And a little more, they may be otherwise off the wall, but at least in front of me they're... Amit Madan, very close. Very, very close, by the way.
So you can take him in the next movie. So if it was Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara?
Again, I don't know what you're talking about. But Amit will get this thing.
And the third one in Zindagi, there's 3 of them. There's Hrithik, there is Abhay Deol, and there is Farhan Akhtar.
Huh?
Farhan Akhtar. So, Mrs. Menon, these are the 2 movies you all need to watch together now with Nina, okay? Korean. So the rules are fixed? Okay. Perfect. There is a question from...
I'm the director, by the way, not the actor.
I was actually... 0. You're always the director, sir. There was a question from Roma. Roma, are you there? She specifically came to me. I have a question.
Good afternoon,
Yes,
sir.
Roma.
I remember Mahesh saying he was very hot and fury. I'd like to take the hot in a better way, not the hot. Looking at his personality, right? I think it's been about 2 years for me here, and I've always seen you in this attire. Well, along with this, I've seen a constant pin on the left-hand side, and would like to know the story behind it.
Look, I started wearing this about, I think, 8, 9 years ago. And I somehow felt, and the person who sort of brought it to me the very first time is actually here. Where's Raju Vane? Yeah. So Raju bought me this thing and gave it to me. And it caught my attention. I've always seen multiple leaders of various countries wearing this thing. And I said, this is something. So ever since then, I have worn a flag on whether it's a jacket or it is, a bandi as I'm wearing today. But I'm very proud of being an Indian. If you look at and this is not today, it goes back to when I graduated from university in the US. I was very clear that I was coming home to work. I knew I was going to marry Lily Menon, so but no, for me, I've always been proud of being an Indian. I still am, and I will always be.
Thank you, sir. Cassius, you've been giving everyone work. Can you please take one picture for me? Yeah, sorry, sir. I don't think I'll get this opportunity ever. So, yeah.
But everybody is going to have this opportunity towards the end, but I'm going to charge you for this one.
I'll charge you for making me do this.
Done. Thank you, Roma. Thank you so much. I will send you the picture. Any of you who want to click pictures, once we're done with the cake cutting, you can. Mr. Menon and family is going to be in the cafeteria. Please do click pictures. A few more questions and...
By the way, I just forgot to mention it, I'm extremely proud to be a member of this family.
Thank you so much. And while I had almost forgotten it, so the second thing that I copied from Mr. Menon was this flag pin. I seen him wearing it in office, and so first was socks. Second one, every tour that I did, after I seen him with that, I used to wear a flag pin on my jacket. Yeah, and everybody used to ask me, why do you do it? And that flag pin was actually given to me by one of the corporates from Tata Motors by the name Mr. Pasi, and I asked him, so why do you wear it? And the answer was the same. I'm an Indian, and no, I need to carry this. I carry this every time I leave my country. It reminds me of my roots. That was the message, and I always, and I still have it, and I try not to forget carrying it whenever I'm traveling. So, thank you, sir. We will play the third part of the video. Oh, sorry, the second part of the video.
Hi. It's really special talking about Mr. Menon, and especially at this time. So, first and foremost, the man, the human that Mr. Menon has been, a genuine, compassionate human, standing strong by us in times of joys and in times of sorrows, back in office, at work, professionally. A man who never sat on the fence to see the movie scene, especially in troubled times. He sensed, he heard the trouble, and he came, he stood with us, he fought out along with us, shoulder to shoulder, setting great examples of leading by example. And in the process, Mr. Menon transferred and we inherited some of his traits which are very precious to us. His fearlessness, his agility, his zero tolerance policy, his never give up attitude has been inherited, and we will carry this forward. Finally, yes, Mr. Menon, you will be missed, but life goes on. The traits that you transferred and we inherited will keep us going very strong forever. And we wish you all the best for your new stints. You are still very, very young, and for us, very, very inspiring. All the best, sir.
Dear Mr. Menon, you have very positively impacted me with lots of empowerment and trust. I have always seen you backing your teams to the fullest, arming them with the confidence to put in their 100%. This will remain with me all my life. I thank you, sir, for your leadership and wish you great health, happiness and success in the years to come.
Mr. Menon, retiring, well, that's something. There's so much I'd like to say, but then given the constraints of time, I don't think I can say too much. But let me just say that yes, your good-natured banter will be missed. I will really miss all your ribbing, and we won't be able to say any more. The lions on the prowl, 11th floor, early morning. Have a great retirement, boss. Thank you.
Mr. Menon, my tenure at Thomas Cook has been for 20 plus years, and my association with you 18 plus years. It has been a great journey, and I had a great learning experience under your able leadership. Your personal touch with the staff as well as the family member of the staff. I still remember last few days of my father's journey, your constant touch with me that kept me extremely strong. Of all the opportunities given to me throughout my tenure, one of the most exciting opportunity was my exposure to the Fairfax delegation. Your faith and trust in me to handle this delegation from start to end, which gave me so much of confidence, and you have trusted me to deliver the entire delegation. That has been one of the most remarkable and memorable journey during my tenure at Thomas Cook. No round of yours was complete without a brief stop at my workstation at the 11th floor, and it gave me a sense of belonging and an honor, and this will be missed by me forever. Mr. Menon, you always stood by me whenever our clients, they keep complaining about our services, despite of our, putting our 100%, giving blood and sweat, making day and night together, and they still keep complaining, and I come to you and I narrate the story, and which you tell me that I already came to know this Raju. Be rest assured, I was waiting for you when you'll come and tell me. Now since this matter has come to me, I will handle it personally. You stay focused on the businesses. Be rest assured that I will deal with the client. Mr. Menon is yours now, 100%. Entire Menon family, Mr. and Mrs. Menon, stay blessed always. We will miss you. Take care.
Wow. We have some more to come. And there are a few more questions, Mr. Menon, which are coming in. And there's one from Shreyas. Shreyas. Sorry, Shreyas. He came to me, I have a question. I said, you talk to Mr. Menon almost every few hours. Why do you want to ask this question? And he's like, I want to be there.
No, let me correct that. He always worries that I'll keep barking at him for something or the other.
No, not even once Mr. Menon has ever shouted at me. Not even once, I don't know why he's doing it. I still don't believe that Mr. Menon is retiring. I still don't believe. I mean, all of you can see it. He's very, very young, fit. I don't know. I mean, I don't think that Mrs. Menon has asked him to come back and stay back at home more. I don't know. I don't think that's true. But I have one question for you, sir. I started my journey from DN Road office, and we spent a lot of many years there, and I noticed that there were quite a bit of paintings in that building. I don't see these paintings here in the office. Maybe you have kept it somewhere, so since you are retiring, maybe you can give me one?
I'll let you in onto a secret. Actually, Suzanne knows exactly why the paintings are not here. Which year was it, Suzanne? 2006. Was it? 2006. I also don't know what happened to the paintings. We all went home on a Friday and came back on the Monday. But I was missing something because there were two paintings which Lily had made for me. I knew my life depended on that. And I started searching for those two paintings. Actually, for those of you who have experienced all the other paintings, I never missed them. Those two I missed, and I had to go and search, and we finally retrieved them. They're somewhere here in Marathon. I don't know where, but they are hanging somewhere.
Okay, so other paintings are missing?
Not mine. I can only say they're not mine.
Okay. Thank you.
They were there before I came to the company.
Okay. Thank you very much, miss.
Thank you, Shreyas. Just one question, since we are talking about paintings going missing and paintings found and, the painter. This one common question that, we often ask people, if there was one thing that you could redo and if there is one thing that you regret not doing, what is that?
Can I redo what I did at Thomas Cook? Answer is no. I think it is chance of a lifetime. It's something God has been very kind to me, and everybody around me has ensured that this thing. If I wanted to redo, and by the way, it was brought to my attention, I'd forgotten this, when in Toronto, we had, there was a dinner and there was this gentleman, what is he called? What was he called? Puji? The guy who predicted that I wanted to follow a particular... Anyway, he asked, he's one of those mind readers, scary types, by the way. There's mentalist. So if you ever meet a mentalist, keep him far away. Don't bring him close to you. He asked several people to write what they aspired to be when they were young. So I wrote it on a piece of paper and gave it to him. And he very correctly said that I wanted to become a pilot. And this was when I must have been 15 or 16, or maybe younger, I don't know. But I did want to become a pilot. Of course, if I had become a pilot, Lily would have never married me. She said the first thing she told me very early when we had met, she said, "Thank God you're not a pilot. I wouldn't have married you." And you know why? Because in her mind, pilots sleep with every stewardess that comes her way. Ladies, that was not a sexist comment, by the way.
I almost forgot my next question. Thank God I'm no more a tour manager. I think I know the answer, but then who's the boss at home and in the office?
Okay, boss at home and my future boss, I'm going to be assistant grade -1 post-retirement. Look, I've always said Lakshmi managed my existence in the office, and she's always had this statement she made. When it originally came to Thomas Cook, she said, "I wish I had a fax machine." Then quietly it became a photocopying machine, and then it became a scanner. Because anybody would come into my room and into the cabin and say, "Can you do this for us? Will you be there for us?" Or somebody would call, and I would say yes. I mean, I had this habit of accepting any commitment, and she'd say, "You know, I need to create duplicates of you to make that this thing." So I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, you have. Did you all get the answer? Yes or no? Why is everyone suddenly gone so quiet?
She controlled my temper, navigated me through all those events.
Your answers and importance and the fear is, giving ideas to a lot of people over here. One more question. What is a 70-year-old retiring Mr. Menon advising a 21-year-old Madhavan coming into the organization?
I don't have enough. No, I can only say one thing. Look, I'm from another generation, and I know today's generation thinks completely differently. I have 2 children. I know how differently they think. Actually, my daughter-in-law and son-in-law are slightly more aligned to my thinking than they are. But I think what is very important to understand in today's generation, and this, by the way, is something that Prem taught me, is he told me, he said, you need to allow people to enjoy themselves at work. And I think that's very important, and that's what today's generation looks at. See, none of us are going to do jobs of a lifetime. It's never going to be one job, though there are people here who have done that. The reality is, enjoy yourself. You need to be honest to yourself as to why you are here in a job. Very often people see it as, check in, check out, and then waste their day. I've seen people get very bitter about why they're at job, and that's why at every induction I tell people, this is just one segment of your journey. Please enjoy yourself here. Of course, with the selfish intent that when you move on, you'll become our ambassador again, but the reality is, enjoy what this thing. Unfortunately, you know, we're not, all of us are not like tour managers. Get to meet every 7 days, get a new batch of people, where you have to be the mother, father, psychiatrist, singer. I believe you've done Antakshari for a lot of your customers.
And I tried singing and then they stopped playing Antakshari in the bus. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I think the message was very deep. You need to love what you're doing. There's one thing about Mr. Menon is, even at his age, there's one thing that he always keeps pushing is technology, adaptability, you know, embrace the change, embrace what is new. You know, that's something that is hard out of every message that he gives us. Thank you once again, sir. We have the last part of videos. Some more people sharing their views.
Hello, Mr. Menon. We still have to come to terms that we are not going to see you. It's very difficult to believe this. You have had an immense impact on the entire tour manager fraternity, and your brand ambassadors will definitely miss you. Especially your day rounds, during which we had interactions, we have conversations, we will miss those for sure. We wish you all the very best and great health. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, I'm Suzanne. I'm going to say a bit about Madhavan. To me, Madhavan, and to everyone, he is truly a colossus, a towering figure who is hard to miss. And his management by walking around is now legendary as he marches across the floor at Marathon Futurex, nodding, smiling, and greeting everyone. Nothing but nothing escapes his really sharp gaze. What I admire most about is his amazing work ethic. He's typically the first to get to work, come hail, sunshine, or crazy travel schedules. What a dynamo. Nothing slows him down. Managing people and businesses across geographies is seriously no walk in the park. But then Madhavan makes it seem like it. Kudos to you, sir. My relationship with Madhavan, though not all roses, has certainly been a bit of guns and roses. While Madhavan is a no-nonsense, straight from the hip sharpshooter, he is equally, if not more, a softie. A man with a heart of gold. My personal interactions with him are so many, and I recall his coming for my mum's month's mind mass and waiting patiently to speak to my family and I. Later also catching up in the office to reassure me if any help was required. Also during my dad's hospitalizations and ICU, and then later during his last days. And it's not just me. I've met so many people who've spoken about and his gentle caring and compassion. As we stand today, Madhavan, I want to tell you that you don't need any luck. You're one of those really rare people who creates their own luck, their own magic. So instead, I will wish you health and happiness in abundance. Madhavan, I'm really going to miss you. And here's to you. Cheers and happy landings.
Good evening, everyone. Firstly, thank you everyone for gathering here in such large numbers. It really speaks volumes of the influence that Mr. Menon has in each of our lives. If Mr. Menon was to introduce me to somebody, he would always say, meet the boss. But jokes apart, everybody knows who's the boss. This is an absolute emotional moment for me. It took me many days to accept his decision. The other day, my son asked me that I have worked with Mr. Menon for so long and what did I learn from him. Something that instantly came to my mind was, he told me, Lakshmi, never listen to a no. Please ask questions. Believe me, all the no's got converted into yes. That's Mr. Menon for us. I am yet to learn the work-life balance from him. I think it's going to be an ongoing process. It amazes me to see him entering the office after his long travel to so many countries, fully charged with full enthusiasm and positivity. It is a pleasure to see him walking into the meeting rooms, fulfilling all his commitments, Something that even more is a pleasure to see Mr. Menon is to interact with the staff. His reach to the staff, be it marathon, be it any other location, overseas, remote locations. There are occasions when Mr. Menon was on a personal holiday and he ensured that he visits the branch. That's again Mr. Menon for all of us. Well, the list can go on and on. To cut it short, although it took me a while, but I fully respect his decision. Mr. Menon, it was an absolute honor and pleasure to have worked with you for 25 long years. Thank you so very much. On a personal front, you always stood alongside me, Anil and Ansh. They also joined me to wish you all the very best for future endeavors. Thank you so much, Mr. Menon.
Hi, I'm Amit Parekh and I'm here to talk a little about Mr. Menon. I've known him for the past 20 plus years and I've worked closely with him for more than 10 years now. There are many things that one can talk about Mr. Menon. His energy, his zest for doing things, his power, etc. The list can go on. But three things stand out for me in him. His dedication towards the shareholders' interest and the corporate governance of utmost. These things stand paramount to him, he always said. He would also listen to ideas and would suggest a better way to accomplish a problem statement, a solution that nobody had even thought. Always ready to listen and give his views from the vast experience that he's had. His guiding force and support was the most beautiful part. There is a saying in Marathi, "Bhiu nakos, mi tujha patishi ahe," meaning, fear not or don't worry, I am there with you. We'll miss this guidance and support. Wishing the best to you, sir, for your next innings. Take care, sir.
Marks the end of an era for all of us at Thomas Cook as we bid farewell to our great leader, Madhavan sir. Your leadership has always inspired us to strive for excellence, innovation, and integrity. Madhavan sir, on your next chapter of your life, I wish you a great success, happiness, and a good health. You will always be a great leader for us throughout the life, a respected leader, and a cherished personality in Thomas Cook India. Thank you, sir.
Well, videos and words and people coming in. You have heard that from the extended family in the office. Now I would like to invite the boss. You fine? Shankar and Pooja. A few words from your side.
"25 years is a really long time. We were just kids. We were in school when my dad joined Thomas Cook, and now maybe both of us, are almost as old as he was when he joined. Over the years, it's felt sometimes, many times, like he had a third child. Thomas Cook was like a sibling. We had to fight for his attention, but we've always known, how much it meant to him. We've seen how deeply he's cared about the organization and about each and every one of you. It's never been a job for him. He's given it his all every day, every morning. He's gotten up and just given it his all. As his children, and I think you guys will feel the same way, we've had our fair share of tough love, although it mostly felt tough. You had to search for the love. But we knew that it came from the same place as his dedication to Thomas Cook, a commitment to doing the right thing and to doing it well. I'm going to pass this to.
So, hi everyone. Further to what Pooja just mentioned, every one of you has been and always will be a part of our father's family. And by extension, and we have felt this the entire time, a part of our family too. That's something that Abba, as we refer to him, has always held very, very close to his heart, about how he has always looked at all of y'all as family. And with all families, we have troubled so many of you, like any good sibling should. So, while today is about celebrating him and his achievements over here, it would not feel right at all to end this day without thanking all of you. Just a few names, and please forgive me if I've left some out, that we just like to call out over here. Starting with the big boss, sorry Mahesh, sorry Abba. Lakshmi, thank you so very much. And then, in no particular order, Mala, Helen, Rajesh, Nawaz, Rakesh, Rajiv, Arjun, Shishir, Irwin, Santosh, Ashwin, Raju, Meera, and Isha. Thank you all so, so very much. Thank you for being a part of not only his, but our journey. And thank you for giving us a glimpse of the respect and the camaraderie that have shaped our fathers and our times with y'all. Here's to a well-earned retirement, and to the Thomas Cook family that helped make it so meaningful. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Shankar. Thank you, Pooja. In fact, for the last so many years, we keep reading your names in the emails, and finally we have the face to it. Okay, with that, we are moving on to another part where I would request Mr. Mahesh Iyer to come forward and hand over the silver salver. I would also request Mr. Vishal Suri to come forward and hand over the bouquet and chocolates to Mr. Menon. So, Mr. Shah. Towards the end. All right, it's time for the King's speech. Okay, I would now request Mr. Menon to give us his heart out.
If you don't mind, I'm going to stand here. I need to look at this thing. I prided myself all these years that I could speak ex-tempo. Sorry, Mahesh and Vishal, I can't do ditto today. I waited for that day, but it hasn't come. I think I'm absolutely overwhelmed and have been overwhelmed for a couple of months now with the love and affection that we've received as a family, as me, as an individual from the Thomas Cook family. When I say Thomas Cook family, I'm obviously talking about Thomas Cook, SOTC, and everybody. Somebody told me in Delhi when I was at the TCI farewell, asked me, why are you talking so softly? We're not used to hearing you talk softly. Your voice is modulated higher. So today I am going to make the effort to talk a little louder. Please don't get me wrong. June, I'm not shouting at you. You know, the decision to retire was most probably the most difficult decision I've ever made in my life. You know, and there've been, trust me, we've had so many decisions to make with all the changes and the pandemic and everything else that came along the way. But each of those decisions, I knew I had people around me who would help me get through that. I never had to figure out something outside the office. And, you know, and I must say, and I will use the word we, Lily, Shankar, Pooja, Devika, Rohan, and of course my little love here, Nina, gave me strength to make this decision. You know, when we talked about it, it was a conversation around why I was traveling so much. And what I am always is fob a question that's aimed at you and try to kick it down the road. But it got me thinking, and one day I woke up and I told Lily first, I've said I'm done, I'm going to retire. I think I shocked all of them at that stage because that was not the decision they were all expecting. But each of them gave me the support I needed. The inputs, you know, when I went to see Prem, I would have normally turned to Devashish, who's not here, Mahesh, Lakshmi, to get my presentation ready. I had to sit with Shankar and Devika, and then got Pooja and Rohan's inputs. But they actually, Shankar and Devika, you know, created a deck for me to go and talk to Prem about it in November. And strangely enough, Devika reminded me the other day that Prem was quoting the same numbers from that deck when he was here last week. So some things work, but thank you very much for that support. You know, for me, 25 years represents many experiences. When I look back at it, most probably, I always counted it in absolute years, but you know, when I look back at it and I look at the experiences that I have witnessed or gone through, it's just unbelievable that I even survived all those experiences. I mean, I don't know how many times I've come close to getting sacked. I don't know how many times people spread rumors that I was going to get sacked. All sorts of things. But one thing that I got every time was that I drew strength from the organization. It's each one of you that gave me the strength to keep marching on. I mean, the family gave me the strength when I went home. I mean, specifically during COVID, the sort of support that one, and I'm sure each one of you drew strength from your family at home, but that to me gave me a lot of strength. But every other experience, I got strength from each one of you. And that's why I survived. And which is why when I decided to retire, I said I could not have found the organization in a better state in all my 25 years than we find ourselves today. And this was the time to move. And allow the organization to, you know, grow from its point of view. Look, when somebody's looked at something for 25 years, I think a new set of eyes needs to come in and look at it. And I'm sure, though Mahesh has worked with me all these years, I know that he will look at it with a fresh set of eyes, and I think that is good for the organization as a whole. What I witnessed on the very first day that I came to this organization, by the way, I made the mistake, I don't talk about it very often, but I made the mistake of walking into the branch thinking that in DN Road today you can walk from what was the branch into the main building. In those days we couldn't. I still remember June, Mahesh, Suhas Shetty are people I met on that first day. When we went out and acquired SOTC, it was quite surprising the number of people who worked in Thomas Cook were coming back. And that gave me a lot of comfort because, and of course, the fact that when I walked into that office, I saw Vishal, I saw Deepraj, I saw Mothate, I saw a lot of faces that I recognized. It gave me a deep comfort that we had done the right thing. Despite all the challenges, as I said, there have been so many changes. People have come, people have gone. But the constant was Thomas Cook. And I use this word constant because we have gone through periods when we did not know whether we would retain the brand name or not. But I'm very proud to say today it is the constant. And we have Thomas Cook, we have SOTC, and we have multiple brands in our stable, each of which makes us proud. And, you know, ladies and gentlemen, please be rest assured, what you have today can never be taken away from you. In those days, you lived day to day, and some of you have shared my concerns on this. And we did, we went through a period when we didn't know whether we would have the brand. We knew we wouldn't have the brand after 2 years. And while it didn't seem as we were panicking at the time, trust me, we panicked. We went out and bought a company. Mahesh, you remember this? TC Forex, because we saw, okay, Thomas Cook stood for TC. Little realizing that that brand name was ours anyway in a short period thereafter. Mahesh and Vishal, you guys have been a tremendous support to me. The pandemic, you may not realize it, but the amount of strength you gave me and the management team around me, it gave me a tremendous amount of comfort, because that was the period that I could say things would go on. I know people wondered how I could just say, don't worry, everything will come back to normal. By the way, I used to get a phone call every 10 days from my boss in Toronto, and he's, for those of you who've interacted with him, he's the eternal optimist. I know my children wondered how I'd gone from being the eternal cynic. I said no as many times at work as I did to them, so don't worry. But that really gave me the strength. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. What Prem has taught me, nobody else could have taught me. And that's shaped my, I won't say my character, but it shaped the way I've managed the companies, because that gave me a foundation in my mind. In terms of the management team, Ram, I don't think many of you noticed it, but if you looked at the first video, the common thread through that entire video was Ram. Ram looking a very young Ram. Where's Ram? A very young Ram to where he looks today. By the way, I saw his ID card today, and I was looking at him to see if it was the same Ram. But Ram has been around with me, amongst many other people. Devashish, who's not here today, been around, been great strength to me. I've got irritated many a time. You know, I have this love for chartered accountants. Those of you who don't know, I have this eternal love for chartered accountants. But, you know, they've lived with me and they've got around working with me. Rajiv Kale. Rajiv Kale and I met the first time 17 years ago, Rajiv. And I remember we could have killed each other after the first meeting. He asked me, what turnover do you do? And I said, 14 crores. I thought I was saying a big number, and he looked at me and he said, only 14 crores? I thought to myself, who the hell is this guy trying to tell me, question my 13 crores? And he said Cox and Kings, and I rubbished Cox and Kings, and I said all this thing. But it's been a partnership of 17 years. Rajiv and the family have been a great addition to our family. And the mice family, my mice business, I mean, I used to tell him we'll get to 1,000 crores. And I know in Meera and Rajiv and the entire team's mind, I must have lost it 1,000 crores wasn't possible. We actually achieved 1,000 crores in 2023. Am I correct? 2023 is the year. We achieved it. To me, and ever since, Rajiv has never argued with me about a number. And for those of you who know, I promised to carry him on my shoulder if he did, and I did it. Amit Madan, what do I say? Cause for the ransomware attack last year, by the way. Somebody out there didn't like him. But do you realize, despite all the ribbing that I do with Amit, he still smiles. And that's what I love about him, because he can take it, he can take a firing from you, and he's heard from me many a time. But the one thing, he can take it the way it comes. Thank you, Amit. Abraham, there you are. By the way, Abraham and I have a bet. He says, I'll be back in the office in 3 months. He says, I won't be able to hack it. As a retired person, I have to prove him wrong. So please, I need everybody's prayers and wishes that I can prove him wrong. Brijesh, we've had a long journey together. Again, chartered accountant. We've agreed, we've disagreed, we've this thing. But I give Brijesh the point that he will persist. You can say what you want to him, but he will persist with his point. And keep going at it, Brijesh. I think that's what sets you apart very often. Indivar is not here, but he is, he's a grown-up individual, but we call him, I call him a child, because I have to whack him regularly. And even last week I had to whack him. But, the guy has got a great soul, a heart that is absolutely this thing. And, I genuinely like what Indivar does. Nandu, don't forget 750 Nandu. Those of you who are in MICE know exactly what I'm talking about. And he will get to 750 this year. I hope you don't prove me wrong, Nandu, otherwise my ghost is going to come and haunt you. Nandu, is, what do I say? I remember in the early years of SOTC, I used to tell Vishal, just tell Nandu not to look at the second half of the year, look at the first half of the year. Nandu wouldn't. Ultimately, I think Vishal heard my music going on too often and convinced Nandu, you better start looking at the first half of the year instead of only the second half of the year. Thank you, Nandu. Thanks for listening to me. Romil and Rakesh are not here, but both these guys are excellent in what they do. And I've watched both of them in various roles, in various aspects, but as far as Romil is concerned, I always believe he represents change, and that's something I really respect in him. Rakesh, I think finding his feet and coming up the curve, but he will this thing. There are lots of things I'd like to say about Neeraj. I'll refrain. I think this guy is truly amazing. I mean, first time he told me that his wife runs a full marathon and he doesn't. That second part was he doesn't. And he said it with immense pride, and I knew, hey, this one is a good one. No, I really like him because I think he's most probably the one whose desk, I said hi to everybody else, but Neeraj's desk was the one where I would spend my time ideating with him. And he's wondered where I came from. One day I'll come and tell him Hungary. Another day I'll come and tell him about the recent one I told you about, Albania. I used to this thing, but the ability, he'll say, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. And then possibly, do 2 out of the 10 I tell him. But the fact is that he actually has done that. Meera and Dipesh are not here today. But I know Meera is in Japan trying to execute a difficult assignment. But all the best to her. All the very best to Dipesh. Neeraj, I hope you'll wish him on my behalf also tomorrow. He's getting married, for those of you who don't know. I reserved the last for Mona. What she said was correct. I needed a HR person from whose shoulder I could fire. You know, ever since I took over, I had HR people who fired off my shoulder. So I said I needed to find someone whose shoulder I could fire off, and Mona represented that opportunity. Thank you, Mona. I hope the shoulders are not too sore, but it's worked wonders. Dipti, not here today, but, you know, look, I think she's coming up the curve, will come up and find her own feet, but she's got a huge amount of opportunity. Have I left anybody out? Farooq, where's Farooq? Farooq and I have had in our short period a whole lot of differences. He hasn't given up his views, I haven't given up my views. Farooq, we'll part as friends. Good. As I mentioned earlier, you know, and I think Pooja and Shankar mentioned it, but Thomas Cook has definitely, in addition to helping them source their holidays, plan their holidays, it has had an influence. If you look at Lily today, she's the best holiday planner I know. I haven't gone on a holiday without her planning. Does an amazing job with a lot of support from within the system. If I look at Pooja, her knowledge about destinations, her knowledge about hotels, you know, sometimes I feel sheepish. I wonder, am I in the industry or is she in the industry? But the reality is they know a hell of a lot about. Shankar, his knowledge about food and hotels is just unbelievable. Every time I travel, he will send me a list of 2 or 3 restaurants, and on occasion has gone out and booked a restaurant for me without even telling me, and then push me to go into that restaurant. His knowledge of food and now wine, by the way, I'll come to Mahesh. I did try to break him on a couple of things. I didn't succeed. I gained a few, but the only people in the family who join me in watching my children and my wife do all this are Devika and Rohan. We are on for the ride. We enjoy it. We sometimes wonder, are we actually there or are we just part of the process? Because we could be sitting at a table in a restaurant, mother, daughter and son are talking about the food, and the 3 of us are sitting there and saying, okay, whatever. But you know, it's an amazing, it is an influence, and let me be very clear on that. I think I need to recognize a lot of people, and which is why I created this list. The first names I'm going to recognize are people who found their life partners in Thomas Cook when I was in charge. So Mr. Iyer knew this one was coming, so he owned it up straight up front. Mahesh and Jenny. Mahesh may not give me the credit, Jenny gives me the credit. But no, they are one. Shishir and Pooja. Pooja doesn't work with us anymore, but Shishir Kambate met Pooja here. Lenny and Cassius. Lenny, I hope you chose Cassius, he didn't choose you. You know, you're in trouble otherwise. But I always ask Lenny how the 3 children are. And I always refer to Cassius as the 3rd child. Then we have 2 people who are not this thing. Anish, are you here? Ah, there he is. The funniest man in the organization, by the way. Met his wife Sunita, who doesn't work here anymore. We always wondered how Sunita tolerated him, but I met her recently and she said, I'm still trying to figure it out. And of course, Ramina and Subramaniam, who aren't here anymore with us, but again, these are people who they say, I hope I haven't missed anybody. Lakshmi, I think it's very clear. She has managed my schedule, my temper, my whims, my commitments, everything, and still has to remind me from time to time that I'm overcommitting. A whole lot of people who I want to mention, but this will go on. I know I've crossed the 4 o'clock deadline, but everybody I want to mention, I'm not able to, but just bear with me. But I will mention Nawaz, Sangeeta, Jessica, Mary, who sit there, watch, and Urvashi, who sit there watching me march up and down that space. They're no longer afraid to look at me, but there are people who continue to avoid my look. The union has been something that I've really drawn pleasure in working with. I don't know if Sharmila is here. There she is. And the people who preceded her during my tenure, Helen, Mala and Mr. Pujari. Helen and Mala are here. I call Mala the Thomas Cook Google, by the way. You want anything fixed, go to Mala. She will fix it for you. And trust me, the family will vouch for that. It can be electricity bills being too high, petrol bill, she hasn't found a solution, but if your petrol wasn't being filled, she'd give you a solution. Rajesh Thakkar, the entire admin team, Rakesh, special mention. They've been, every time I turned a corner and I needed help, they were there. They took care of everything that I needed and could address it. Two people who deserve special mention. One is Ankush. Ankush, who has sort of made sure that we were adequately filled with tea, coffee, hot water, whatever. Were always there. Deepraj, Suhas, Amit, my friend June Pimenta, Nancy, Hazel, I can go on and on. These are names who've been around all the time I've been here. And I always used to visit, for those of you who've been here long enough, DN Road, first floor in that back corner, where Hazel and Mala used to sit. Many people don't know, when I got angry in a meeting, that was where I went. They never knew it, but it was peaceful in there. Because they were busy on that phone, they wouldn't bother me, then I'd walk out after 2 minutes and go back my way. Finally, foreign exchange. When I came here, I knew no better. An amazing group of people. Starting with Mahesh, June, Daya Kotian, who has intentionally missed my farewell sitting in Europe. Sudhir Nair, who's also not here. Jayesh Joshi, Rachna Verma, who's again not here, but I met last week in Delhi. Rupak Paul. Sanjay Jani. Sanjay, can you come forward? I'm calling Sanjay up not for anything else, but one, he's been a part of this team for so long. Sanjay retired 2 days ago and deserves congratulations for his Rohit Chauhan, who's not here, I think, who's broken all records of the number of years that he's worked in the organization. Imtiaz. Imtiaz, are you here? Suhas Shetty, as I mentioned. Did I see Imtiaz there at the back? Yeah. Ah, there he is. Suhas Shetty, as I mentioned, met him, this thing. Very special mention for Suhas. He's the only guy who still wears a tie in the organization. Everybody else has discarded it, including me, but he holds on to those ties of his. Rupak Paul, and I may have missed a few people, but ladies and gentlemen, that team is still, and I will let you in on a small, the thing is, when I see them, I love the smiles that they have, because that's what reminds me of the family that I came to, and they continue to this thing. All the memories I leave behind, all the friends I leave here in the organization, I'm not leaving them, I'm carrying them with me. These memories, this is how she takes care of me. These memories I will cherish. Each one of you, not just FX, but everyone, is somebody I will always carry for the rest of my life. There are many people who've retired, who still I'm in touch with. These are all the people that I will always carry with me. You can't, Cassius was absolutely right. You can't take the Thomas Cook out of me. 25 years is a long time, but the great time I've had in this organization is truly something that I cherish. Ladies and gentlemen, don't let the spirit fade away. I know Mahesh won't let you. I know all the other senior management will not let you, but this is what holds us out from many other organizations. In our industry, there is no comparison, let me assure you. I've said this for many years, I'll keep saying it. There is no other company in our industry that can even match us. There are many companies in the service industry who don't have the sort of family, the concept of camaraderie that we have. There are very few organizations like that. And that's what sets us apart. And I think that's our legacy. So, ladies and gentlemen, please make me proud. Please hold on to that. Because that's what our success is rooted in. Look at what we are today. All the trials and tribulations that we've been through, we've still emerged stronger. We've still emerged better. We've emerged to be a market leader. And that's what matters. I'm sure you'll ensure that my holdings in stock are taken care of, Mahesh. I'm holding on to them, okay? Lastly, everything is not a success. I have a couple of failures. I tried to convert Lakshmi into a non-vegetarian, spent 25 years and failed. I've tried everything. Today, I think they tried giving her soya meat and she didn't go near it. Mahesh Iyer, partial success. A few people in foreign exchange, another gentleman called Mr. Mohan Krishna, who has retired, I was convinced I had to do some change in him. I mean, what Mahesh said I leave aside, but I had to bring some change. I introduced Mahesh to alcohol. Yeah! No, but I convinced Mahesh to drink beer. And I thought, okay, let's not push it anymore. In some time, I found him drinking wine. Then recently, I found him drinking rum. So he's progressed. Of course, on the other side, I could not convert him even to eating an egg, cake with egg in it, which is fine. I think I've had a partial success. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I bow to you. in the gratitude to each one of you for what you've given me. I will never forget it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Menon. Thank you so much. You will definitely walk out with memories and some souvenirs and these scan kudo cards. All the employees from the organization have written some messages for you. Please scan it and watch it later on. Thank you so much.
Gold coin for 25 years?
It's coming. It's coming. Mumbai Immigrations and Customs. Okay, may I request Mr. Menon's family, Mrs. Menon, Shankar, Rohan, Devika, Pooja, and Nina to please come forward. We're gonna have a cake cutting. This is where the smashing doesn't happen.
Wait, let us stand here. Okay, wave to everybody. You come here, you hold my hand.
All right, everybody, at a count of 3, 2, 1. All right, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Menon, once again from Thomas Cook SOTC and the entire Thomas Cook group for walking us through in the last 25 years and setting the context for the upcoming future. Thank you once again. We wish you good health and happiness in life and to your family. Ladies and gentlemen, all the 3 terraces have snack boxes. Please collect your snack box. In case anybody wishes to click a picture with Mr. Menon's family, interact, he's around, feel free. Thank you so much.
Those of you who can
have a lovely evening.
My granddaughter just gave happy retirement. These are all my drawing skills.
All right, everybody, we can all start moving towards the terraces.
I just
Have a
want to
lovely
say
evening.
one thing. Whatever's going on, wherever up north, don't worry. This will get over. We'll be back to normal soon. Parting statement.